Hello and welcome to another edition of Overcoming Illness. I'm Paula Denoncourt, your host, founder, and CEO of Enrich Your Health. I'm a holistic health coach. I've been doing this since about 2010. I help my clients stop living a life of pain and suffering. And full disclosure, this is not meant to be medical advice, not meant to treat, heal, cure, or any illness. So make sure you always check with your doctor for anything I say here on this show. I do one-on-one coaching, group coaching. I have digital ebooks and recipe books. I'm looking to collaborate with more practitioners, doctors, nurses, or other people that may have clients that may have things like food allergies. I suffered from food allergies myself, or food sensitivities. So my ebooks and digital recipe books are all like dairy-free, gluten-free, low sugar, I shouldn't say sugar-free, nut-free. So if you ever hear of anybody that doesn't know what to eat, especially now with the holidays coming, I'm your girl. So please get in touch with me. You can do that by going to my website, enrichurhalth.com, or you can message me on Facebook Messenger or Instagram Messenger. You can text my phone number. That's 508-330-9665, and I will get back to you and we'll set up a time to talk. I'm looking for more sponsors for the show. I'm looking for more guests for the show. So this is our last day for October for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I've had some amazing guests. Please go watch the replays. To give a summary of my last two guests, just a couple things. Some things that I didn't realize that could happen. One guest had a tumor behind a tumor on her breast, and the other guest before that had found out she had breast cancer because her nipples kept bleeding. So just some things to be aware of that you might not be aware of. So please go back and watch some of the replays. Go and like and subscribe to Elevation TV Network on YouTube. You may be watching on other platforms, but go give them some love. They're, kind enough to have this platform for everybody. So I need you to help me support them. And then you can also like my YouTube channel, and that's Enrich Your Health, ENRICHURHEALTH, if you're out there listening. So like I said, we've had some amazing guests on breast cancer for the month of October. I am so grateful for the guests that we've had. So tonight I thought I would do something different to sum it all up and to just really honor some of the people that have gone through breast cancer in my own life. So I'm going to tell you some personal stories and experiences that I have encountered throughout the years with breast cancer. Thankfully, I didn't have it myself, thankfully. But I do have some people in my life that are near and dear to me that I've experienced go through it. So I'm going to share some stories tonight with you with breast cancer in my life. And maybe you can resonate with some of the stories. I'm going to try not to cry and hold back my tears because it can get a little bit emotional. So I did have to write down some notes because, I may forget what I want to say. So bear with me if I'm looking down a little bit because I did have to write down some notes to do that. But I just really, really wanted to do that tonight, and just go through my journey of seeing my friends, my family go through their journey of breast cancer. Okay, and how I've come to help with it as well. So the first person that I met that had breast cancer, believe it or not, was 25 years old. Now, mind you, when I met her, I might have been either the same age or very, very close to it. 25, 26, 24, I don't remember. But I remember saying, what? you're 25 and you have breast cancer? Are you kidding me? This was my friend Kathy, who was very, very close to me. It was her, not her, it was her stepsister. So I remember meeting her stepsister, and she had the most amazing spirit. And I use the word had, H-A-D, because unfortunately, she did not survive breast cancer at the age of 25. So let me tell you a little bit about Jess. And this is why I wanted to honor her. Like I said, it's gonna be hard to hold back the tears. I'll do my best. Jess was doing everything in her power to stay alive. At the time, I knew nothing about, I shouldn't say nothing, I knew a little bit. I didn't know a lot about holistic health. I knew more about Western medicine. I knew a little bit, don't get me wrong. I mean, there were supplements out there, but at the time I probably knew about like St. John's wort or something, but I didn't know a lot. I remember when I met her, she took out all her supplements and laid them across the table. And I kid you not, I can't count. There was probably about 20. And I remember she was taking things like back then. I mean, this was way back. Like I said, I'm 55, so do the math. I was in my 20s when I met her. She was taking things like shark cartilage, which you don't even hear about anymore. I don't know where that went or what's going on with that, but that was something people used to take back in those days. Just all kinds of herbs and supplements. And I was like, wow, she is just really doing it all. But because she was doing it all and trying to stay alive, guess what happened to her? And people don't talk a lot about this. Money was an issue. She didn't have a lot of money. So she would say things like, to still enjoy life, you don't have to go out and buy things. She'd say, you can just go and feed the ducks. Spend a day feeding the ducks. Well, here I am, 55. That's stuck with me. I never forgot her saying that. So unfortunately, like I said, fast forward, unfortunately, Jess did not survive breast cancer, and she is no longer with us. And I will say she was living with her grandmother. Grandmother didn't have a lot of money either. So life was hard. It's very hard for a 25-year-old to be told you have breast cancer back then. So fast forward, gosh, how old was I? Trying to think. I don't know if Jess was before my mom. I can't even tell you. But anyway, it doesn't matter. My dad died an early death. He was 59 years old. He was taking a walk to the store one day, and unfortunately, he was hit by a van. Went straight up in the air, and he just didn't make it. So that was 1990. I think I was around the age of 21, 22. I think I was 22 years old then. That took a toll on my mom. So shortly after he died, I remember it like it was yesterday. I was sitting in our room we call a carport. It's like a sunroom, an outside room. So I imagine my dad died in March of 1990. I want to say that was probably only a few short months later after he died. So I truly believe the stress of his death took a toll on my mom and her health. I remember sitting in this room, our carport, on the steps, and my mom said, I've got to tell you something. And I remember how hard it was for her to say it. It's like, Mom, just spit it out. What's going on? I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what she wanted to tell me. And then she said they found a mass. And that mass, believe it or not, was only a little bitty speck. That's all it was. It was probably like, I don't know exactly, maybe the size of a poppy seed, if I have to remember correctly. Like I said, I remember how hard that was for her. I can still see her face trying to tell me about that. And it was from there, I had to take her to get a biopsy. And man, even the biopsy. Now, mind you, I was in my 20s again. I remember how painful that biopsy was. Like I could almost feel it myself. That alone was extremely painful. So, and that's how they found out that they found the mass, was when she did the biopsy. Things are a lot different back then. They have a lot more to offer now for the breast and for people. So she did have to have a mastectomy after that. And I remember how hard that was too. The hospital didn't keep her very long. They sent her right home. And, you know, it's just my sister and I. My sister's 2 years older. And she didn't live at home at the time I did. And they were like, yep, here you go. You're going to have to change your bandages. You're going to have to do this. I think they had some kind of nurse coming in a little bit here and there, but not enough to do what needed to be done medically. And so my sister wound up coming home for a little bit and doing that because, man, I'll be honest, it was too hard for me because I didn't want to have to touch her and make her in more pain. So kudos to my sister. I thank God that she was able to do that. So we had to change the bandages, the drainage, all of that for my mom. So now fast forward 10 years later, she's diagnosed again, the other breast. Oh my goodness. So now here it is. I think it was 10 years later, 8 to 10 years, something like that. I lost track of some of the years. But let me tell you how that affected her. You know, I remember, actually, let me tell you another story. Before she even was diagnosed again 10 years later, I remember catching her in the mirror. Now, mind you, she only had, you know, one good breast still, was bandaged up. I remember her looking in the mirror. I caught her. And she goes, I look like a monster. And it was then that I realized, you know, because it was a few years after my dad died and things, she didn't want to date, because of that. I mean, granted, my dad was her best friend since they were kids, but I think that also made her a little leery about dating. I mean, it was hard. Granted, she was older, but not that old. She was, gosh, how old was she? 58, maybe 50, pretty young. She didn't like those, back then they had these, I forgot what you call them, but they were fake boobs and they were heavy. So like in the summertime, if you put that in your bra, it would, make you sweat. They were hot, uncomfortable. So now they have, breast implants and, surgeries and things that will help people with this. They didn't back then. So fast forward, I had my own health challenges. I started to get multiple food allergies. I worked in a prison for 22 years. If you've never seen my show before, and you don't know me from Adam, I almost died from multiple food allergies. So I became my own health advocate. I went to school for health and nutrition. And now I started to study business. So from there, I met this woman, Kelly, who, guess what? She was diagnosed with breast cancer. So I was in a business group, and that's how I met Kelly. I was in BNI, Business Networking International, and Kelly was amazing. Kelly was probably in her 30s and diagnosed with breast cancer. So from there, we decided she actually was an advocate and kind of like a co-founder for the Breast Friends Connection in Massachusetts. I'm in North Carolina now. So we decided, hey, let's do a nutrition talk for her group, her support group. And I absolutely love this group. I love how they do things. I'm not exactly sure what they're doing now because I think things slowed down because of COVID and, people are susceptible to getting ill. I don't know if they started back up again, or I know the group exists, but I don't know if all the support meetings exist, if you will. So I'd have to find out about that. So if it's anything you want to know about, let me know. I'll get in touch with Linda. I'm still in touch with her. But anyway, if you're out there listening and you have a support group or you want to start one, what they do is remarkable. So what they would do is they'd have an hour of everybody supporting each other. They would talk about their different doctors, their different medicines, what works, what doesn't, emotional support, grief, whatever it was, it's all about them. Nobody could come in between them. That's their hour. The second hour, they have other people come in. So I was one of them. I would do smoothies or something like that, or some healthy dish and demonstrate it, and they could get a taste of it. And I'll show you a picture in a minute of that. So I did that a few times. Another person they would have come in, they would do this I forgot what they called it. But anyway, they would do mental health massage or something like that. And they would do this meditation and then massage everybody's shoulders. Well, who doesn't love that, right? So that was another practitioner that they would have come in. So what they do is brilliant. They get together the first hour amongst each other. And then that next hour is a practitioner would come in and help them with something to help them, whether it's nutrition, whether it's in mind, whatever it is. So if you're out there and you have a support group, you could even do that virtually. It doesn't necessarily have to be in person. So just something to think about. So let me share a picture of my mom and the Breast Friends Connection. Give me one moment and I will share my screen. There we go. All right, so that's my mom. And then this is just a couple people from the Breast Friends Connection. So I also wanted to share, you see the woman in blue? That was Charlene. Charlene, oh my God, what a remarkable woman. Breast cancer hit her really, really hard. Again, really young, probably in her 30s. She also was an advocate not only for the Breast Friends Connection, but Pink Revolution in Massachusetts. Unfortunately, Charlene is no longer with us. I remember seeing her in her last days when I did my last talk for the Breast Friends Connection. Her stomach was swollen. She was just, it wasn't even the Charlene I knew. When you look at that picture, her smile, her glow, she had such a spirit about her. She reminded me of Jessica. like they were one and the same, like very, had such a really positive outlook on life. She really thought she was going to beat it. But it took her life as well. So a very young age. And then the other two people are Kelly and Linda. Linda still runs the Breast Friends Connection. She's the blonde woman. Kelly doesn't run it anymore. She's a massage therapist in Massachusetts. She does also lymph massage. I've lost touch with her, so I don't know exactly what she's doing now. But remarkable, remarkable woman. They've done some amazing things, some fundraisers. So the Breast Friends Connection, I will tell you, they like to raise money that helps the group and not just goes to the bigwigs out there, like Susan Komen and things like that. So it goes to the group. So if somebody needs groceries, if somebody needs a ride to their doctor's appointments, things like that, that's where that money will go. So I think it's a remarkable group. Like I said, if you have a support group out there, or you're wanting to start one, these are some great things that you can do. Highly suggest, like I said, I don't know all the details, but maybe you want to do a 501c3. And so the government will give you money to run your group. So just some things to think about if you haven't already. So I'll stop sharing my screen for a minute. Bear with me. All right, there we go. So sorry, that was a little, not the best with technology. I'm getting better. So now I've moved from Massachusetts to North Carolina. From teaching, doing, well, I shouldn't say teaching, but doing talks for breast cancer back in Massachusetts. A little while later, I started falling into Lyme disease and autoimmune. So I kind of fell away from it a little bit, but doesn't mean I don't still advocate. I still do, absolutely. So that's a little bit about that part of the journey. So, just to sum it up, first Jessica, I was in my early 20s. She died at the age of 25. And then, then my mom had a mastectomy. 8 to 10 years later, double mastectomy. And it really, it took a toll on her. Another thing I didn't share too is we had a trailer up in Salisbury, Mass. I remember her not wanting to go to the pool as much. She was a beach fiend. She loved the sun. She loved going to the beach, going to, sitting out in the sun. But once she had that mastectomy, she didn't want to be at the pool anymore. She wanted to be out in the sun. I know that was a part of it. She never shared these things. So I have no proof. This is all speculation. But I bet if you're sitting out there listening, these might be some things you're going through too, or seeing a family member or a friend going through. So I didn't, it was another thing that part of my journey that I watched my mom go through, just different things like I noticed throughout the years. So let me tell you a little bit more. So then little by little, now I'm on Facebook. I've connected with a lot of friends on Facebook. I've noticed my friends getting struck by breast cancer. And they're young, 40s maybe, okay? Not over 50. I believe my friend Darlene wound up with a double mastectomy early, maybe in her 40s. And if I'm not mistaken, like I said, these are people that I'm not as much in touch anymore. So I'm just going from what I've read on their stories. But if I'm not mistaken, I think her sister also had it. So they both went through it, and they were very close sisters, very, very close. Another one of my friends, Anne, also struck by breast cancer. She's doing fine today, thankfully. Darlene is doing fine today, thankfully. My other friend, Chris, also struck by breast cancer. My aunt struck by breast cancer. And then shortly after, my cousin, her daughter. Now, I was adopted, so I didn't, I don't have like the gene from any of them. So just to mention that. And then, you know, above all else, I just keep meeting more and more people, women especially, that have gone through get breast cancer, or they're starting their own support groups. Here in North Carolina, I've met a couple of support groups, which are amazing. And I met one woman, Tia. I met her at a what do you call it? A fundraiser for breast cancer. And then I met another woman, Princess, who runs a support group in North Carolina, in Mooresville, and she's a surgeon. And then, not to mention, oh my goodness, when I was on Clubhouse, if you never heard of Clubhouse, it's another social media platform. It's still there. But you know, in its early stages, when I was meeting people, it's almost like a podcast with people that they speak, and you just see pictures of them on there. You don't see their like my camera's on now. There's no video, it's all audio. But people would have information about themselves in their bio underneath their picture. Okay. I cannot tell you how many women I met on Clubhouse that went through breast cancer. In fact, here's another one. I don't know if she actually died from breast cancer, but she was in kind of our little clan that we met through Clubhouse, and we're kind of all hanging together with our business stuff. And she just passed away. Some of you may even know her, Jean Turner. I don't know if breast cancer is what took her out, if it was cancer, but she went through breast cancer first. And she was an advocate, a health coach, a nurse. But she wound up passing away just recently. She was not that old, probably either late 50s or early 60s, I want to say. I'm not sure exactly. Some of you may know her that are listening to me right now, because she was very well known. It's on a lot of platforms. So that blew me away. Like I said, I don't know for sure if she was diagnosed with cancer again. I don't know exactly. I would have to find out. If anybody knows, feel free to reach out to me and you can tell me. But I wanted to do this show in honor of all these women. Man, I wish I could name all the ones that I met through Clubhouse, but I don't want to name the wrong names. But man, it was just like, wow, it's almost like we need some sort of a network. If anybody's interested in that, please reach out to me. We could definitely do that. Put together a nationwide, worldwide network for breast cancer. I'd be more than happy to be a part of that, because I'm a good connector and good networker. So the show probably won't be an hour long tonight. I just really, really wanted to honor so many women that I've met that have gone through breast cancer, that have survived, that have not survived, their emotional journey, what they went through, what they're going through. You know, I know one of my guests said, you know, she's still going through it. It's not over. You know, you're still, once you've been diagnosed, it's not over. You know, if you're not adopted, sometimes it's back in the back of your mind. Okay, is this running in the family? Like I mentioned, Darlene, if I'm not mistaken, her sister also had it. So like it's in the back of your mind. My mom had it. Am I gonna get it? Now you gotta go get the gene tested. There's different stages of breast cancer. I don't know them all. I'm not a doctor. Like I said, not medical advice here. This is more of a tribute, if you want, to breast cancer and all the people that it's touched their lives that I've seen. I couldn't even number them all that I've met. But I want to share my own story, because it could resonate with you. Maybe your mom was going through it or is going through it. Maybe your sister, maybe your friend, maybe you don't know how to help them. And, you know, first and foremost, you've got to pray. You've got to pray with them. If they don't know how to pray, pray with them. Go over the healing scriptures with them. By his stripes, I am healed. That's not the only one, but you don't have to be like, okay, what's the healing scriptures? Guess what? Google's your best friend. YouTube's your best friend. Look up the healing scriptures and go over those with them and pray with them. Because a lot of times, our health issues, I told you, my mom was going through a lot of stress in her life. She just lost her best friend in her life. He was ripped from under her. And then she wound up with a health issue. No coincidence. That cancer was the cancer of her emotional being. Anything that's in our bodies are going to come out tenfold when we're under stress or duress, fight or flight syndrome. So, like I said, this is the last day for breast cancer. So I hope this helps somebody out there. And I hope some of the other broadcasts that I've done over the month help somebody. I'm, going forward, we're looking for people that have overcome an illness. It doesn't necessarily have to be breast cancer now in November, December, going forward. It can be any illness. It can be an autoimmune issue. It could be cancer. It can be heart disease. It could be COVID. Whatever it is, tell your story. People need to know how you got through it. I'm in the process of writing another anthology, and we have stories in there of stroke victims, a woman that was in a plane crash, and they're going to be on the show. I can't wait. One woman is going blind. People need your stories. Are you a practitioner that can tell stories of your patients? Are you a doctor, a nurse, an apostle? Do you have miraculous stories where people were healed from you? Not you, God does it, but your help. God uses you, we know. So I need you, the show needs you. So reach out to me. Like I said, you can reach out by Facebook Messenger, Instagram Messenger. You can text me 508-330-9665. I'm also looking for sponsors. So if you have products that you want to advertise, we're on all different platforms: Roku, Facebook, YouTube, Apple, Google, all different platforms. So if you have business that you want to get out there, if people need your products or services, reach out to me. We can put you as a sponsor. It could be a monthly sponsor. It could be one time, 1 week. And then it's up to you. I can also advertise you on my different platforms: Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. I get like tons and thousands of followers. So also, if you're not following me on social media, I'm just under my name on most of my platforms, Paula Denoncourt, except for TikTok. It's Enrich Your Health on TikTok. But Instagram and Facebook, I'm just under my name. I do have a Facebook group. I have two. I'm starting another movement. It's called, and I'm really excited about this. It's called Mad Money for the Kingdom. So please join that group. My hope is to get people to put our skills together so we can make extra money to be blessings to other people. The holidays are coming. People need us. I can't do it on my own. If you've got side hustle ideas, you've got affiliate ideas, whatever it might be, it does not necessarily have to be health related. We need to put our skills and ideas together so we can make extra money and be a blessing to those people that really need it right now. And not to mention people that are ill. I mentioned it earlier, being ill can really take a toll on your finances. I know. I went into debt trying to get well. And so that's why I'm starting this movement called Mad Money for the Kingdom. I started with a Facebook group, but it's going to grow. I want it to grow. And I know God wants it to grow because we need to be blessed to be a blessing, and we've got to help each other do it. We can't be lone wolves. So I just wanted to mention that. And then my other group is more health related. And it's called Enrich Your Health and Life. I had to make it private. I was getting all kinds of scammy stuff. So reach out to me and I will invite you to the group if you're interested in that group. I share a lot of great recipes on there, and a lot of health related subjects. Every once in a while, life related subjects, but it's geared more towards health in that group. So feel free to join those groups, and follow me. So I'm just excited with everything that God is doing. I also have another business. I'm a business funding agent. So if you know anybody that needs business funding or funding for their business, reach out to me for that as well. Right now, people are probably scrambling with the holidays coming. They might need a few extra bucks. It might take too long to get it from a bank. You might be able to get a little faster from us. There are some stipulations, but I'm not going to go into all that now. Just reach out to me. Once again, Facebook Messenger, Instagram Messenger, text 508-330-9665. So with that, like I said, I wanted this to just be a tribute for breast cancer, for all the women in my life that have touched me and I've learned about them, about their journey. I thank everyone that's been on the show this month for sharing their journey and their story, because it doesn't stop this month. People can watch those replays anytime. And I'm so thankful for that. So with that, we will end just a little bit early, but I will see you next Sunday. And like I said, please reach out to me. We need your stories. People need to know how they can cope through illnesses, whether they've already overcome it, or they're witnessing someone overcome it, or they're going through it as we speak. People need that inspiration, that motivation. How can they get out of bed in the morning? How can they live in a little less pain? How can they deal with friends and family? How can friends and family deal with them? And once again, especially with the holidays coming. So that's it for tonight. I will see you next Sunday. Thank you, everybody. Have a great week.